Last video on this apprenticeship exercise, we are going to clean up pretty much our mess. So we have what we assume to be a correct implementation of the isMatrix method, but the way that we do test is really awfully repetitive. Okay, so we're going to keep this message array. We're going to keep this expected array. But what we would like to do here is, well, whenever you have repetition, introduce a loop, right? So something like int I equals 0, I lesser than, for example, message.length, I plus plus. And we would like, instead of having to do all of that testing, we would like to do only one call, repeated over and over and over, where I is used here as the index, is used here as the index, and there we go. This is where we cannot use I as the index because we hard-coded those tests, okay? So we're going to use something different here. Let's use test, plural, okay? And we are going to, what we want to do is, write test index I. So we have to restructure the way we store those matrices so that that has actually a chance to work. Well, that's going to give us an opportunity to do a little foray into the third dimension. That sounds really adventurous when you put it like that. So I'm going to remove all of those variable declaration. We replace it by one variable declaration. And I'm going to also remove all those semicolons. So what I have left here is really the bulk, the raw data. Okay, so I cannot compile that yet. But so what I want to do is use a three-dimensional matrix named test, and then initialize it. So when we went from one-dimensional array to two-dimensional arrays, you saw that we could use this syntax here to initialize, okay, those matrices. So pretty much a matrix is a series of elements separated by comma. Each of those elements happens to be an entire row. So guess what? If I want a three-dimensional matrix where every element in the first dimension is a two-dimensional matrix, that means that I'm going to initialize this three-dimensional matrix by saying, hey, here is the first element. And then here is the second element, and you get the ID right, okay? So I'm going to put a bunch of commas here, and I'm going to indent this properly. There we go. There we go. So I reused pretty much the code I had, right? I didn't add anything here. But the only thing I said is, okay, all of those matrices, two-dimensional matrices I had before, I'm going to insert them one by one in a three-dimensional matrix. So each element at index I here from the first dimension is a complete two-dimensional matrix, which is nifty because when I refer that element here, I am referring to a two-dimensional matrix, which is exactly what isMatrix sorted is expecting. So let's see if we can get this to compile first. So far so good. And let's give it a spin. I probably forgot something. No, this time I didn't forget anything. So we haven't changed any of the features being implemented, okay? We didn't really improve anything but the readability of the code, its quality pretty much. So this is a typical example of refactoring, okay? We have been making our code easier to extend. I don't have to do those silly cut and paste where I take a chance every time to make a mistake, okay? So we made our code better to read, better to understand, maintain, extend, etc., but without changing actually the feature nor the test that we were running, okay? So good example of refactoring just to finish this apprenticeship exercise.